Welcome back to OTH. It's been about a week since we did our lacto fermented vegetables, so we wanted to show you what has happened and that they are mostly ready. So you'll see I've got both trays sitting out here of veggies, and my kids are anxiously waiting off to the side, so we're going to start with a jar of the lacto fermented pickles here, right here. Looks really good. There is some juice dripping out. We have been burping them every couple of days. We didn't have any explosions or anything like that. So we're just going to open it up. The most important thing to remember when we're doing lacto fermentation is that, one, this does have to be refrigerated now, or it will continue to ferment and you'll get like a pickly vinegar thing at the end of it, which probably won't be very good. I mean, the salt will help prevent some of that, but eventually it'll just be mushy pickles. So we will put these in our refrigerator, and eventually we will be working on hopefully a root cellar to keep them at a constant cool temperature. Also, lacto fermentation and lacto fermented foods are not to be your main course meal. You can eat them with every meal, but they're like a condiment, a side dish. They help your digestion with all of the good bacteria that are cultured in here, and they're super, super healthy for you, but you don't want to probably consume the entire jar at one meal, or you'll probably be a little bit sick. So this jar looks fantastic on top. There's little tiny bubbles, and all of our spices have floated, and I'm going to smell it. It smells like pickles. It smells delicious, looks delicious. I'm going to pull one out here. Let me get a fork. See? All right, looks like a pickle. I'm going to cut it into little bite-sized pieces so my children can each try a bite of it. Like I said, they're all just standing over off to the side waiting to try their first bite of this season's pickles. And the rest we will probably be saving for sukkot. So come back. All right, are you ready to try one? Okay, look at the camera while you're eating it. Ready? Chew it all up and then tell us how it tastes. The rest of you can come over behind here and I'll give you a taste.
Real good.
So what do you think, buddy? Is it good?
Yeah.
All right.
Does it taste like a pickle? Would you like one? Anybody that wants one, come on over quick, because I want to show them what happened to some of our other jars here. Here you go. Take a bite. And there you go, ma'am. And we'll have some more with lunch here in just a few minutes. Okay, step back, you guys, real quick. All right. Now, we also discovered that something happened to some of our other ferments. And I was afraid we were going to have to throw out our whole batch, because when we've done this before, we have not had this happen. But this time, a new environment perhaps, excuse me, even though this was in the controlled environment of our home, what you do know if you have been doing any lacto fermentating or ferments before is that there's yeast in the air. And what we have happening here is not mold, it's not fuzzy or furry, but it is a yeast. It's called CAHM yeast, K-A-H-M. And what we're going to try to do, I have my compost bucket down here, and so I'm going to just dump off the very top layer of that, scrape it off, and then we're going to smell the rest of the food. We're going to give it a couple of seconds to breathe. Try not to mix in the rest of the yeast, but there's no fur on here. It is just a top layer of something. So yeah, anybody else like to smell that and just make sure that I'm telling the truth there? Does it smell like bad food? It smells like salsa, doesn't it? It doesn't smell like salsa? Does it smell like salsa to you? Okay, apparently not. Does that smell like salsa?
Kind of, and not.
Daddy? You try. Smell.
That smells like fermented salsa, yeah.
Yeah. See, it didn't happen on all of the jars. Let me show you. Here's one that only had half. And this one, just fine. There's none of that CAHM yeast. So I'm not exactly sure if maybe there was a little bit more air let into this jar. a little too much salt in one jar and not the other, that can affect it as well. But as long as there's not a bad odor, there's not a bad odor. It just smells like something that has been fermented. And that is what this smells like. So we're going to just put the lids back on, put them in our refrigerator, and begin to enjoy the fruits of our labor. There is a certain scent to fermented foods, but they do not smell rotten. There's a small souring, but no, this smells like peppers. This smells like a jar of peppers I would have bought at the store. It smells delicious. We'll let it sit for a couple of seconds, and then, Marty, do you want to try one?
Yes.
Anybody else? Come on over. Take one. Woo!
That tastes just like gardenia.
Is it good?
But these taste like the ones that we had a long time ago in a jar that were in the small.
They taste just like the ones we used to have in another jar, the kind we bought at the store. So yeah, these are really good. They're very good. We're going to continue to experiment over the rest of the season with different spices and things. If you remember, we put a lot of dill in this one, some garlic, and then of course our salt brine in those. But I think next time we'll try and add just a little bit more red pepper to give them a little bit more of a zing to them for our hot dogs and things like that we like to eat when we barbecue. So anyhow, this is our lacto fermentation, our first try. We're going to make another video and show you how we're going to ferment, hopefully fruit, but we're going to start with making our own whey. So join us next time. Thank you.